You know the feeling, don't you? That electric buzz of a brilliant idea, the blueprint crystal clear in your head, the coffee's hot, and the deadline's looming like a storm cloud. You're ready. You're so ready. And yet, somehow, you find yourself scrubbing the sink. Again. Or scrolling endlessly. Or reorganizing your sock drawer for the third time this week. It feels like laziness, right? Like some deep personal character flaw. But here's the thing. It's not. That familiar paralysis, that invisible wall between your great intentions and actual execution, isn't a moral failing. It's a predictable, often frustrating electrical traffic jam inside your brain. It's a short circuit, not a character defect. Stick around, because I am going to pull back the curtain and show you the exact misfiring circuit that keeps your best ideas locked in neutral. And, more importantly, I'll give you 3 fast, brain-friendly ways to hotwire the system so you can finally, consistently finish what you start. Section 1. The 90-second neurocrash. Imagine your brain as a bustling metropolis, with 86 billion neurons texting each other at 1 million messages per second. It's an incredible, complex network, constantly communicating through tiny electrical impulses called action potentials and chemical messengers called neurotransmitters. When you conjure up a goal, say writing that novel or launching that side hustle, your prefrontal cortex, which we can think of as the sophisticated strategic CEO of your brain, gets to work drafting the grand plan, laying out the steps. It's all systems go. But then, the moment your limbic system, the ancient, emotion-driven part of your brain, smells even a whiff of risk, challenge, or discomfort, it slams the brakes, hard. It's like an overprotective bouncer at the club of your ambition. That surge of dopamine, which was supposed to fuel your CEO and power you forward, gets instantly rerouted. Instead of heading to the get stuff done lane, it's shunted into the avoid threat lane. A fascinating 2022 Stanford EEG study actually caught this phenomenon in real time. They hooked up subjects to electroencephalography machines, which measure brain waves, and observed what happened when people contemplated tasks. The instant subjects internally labeled a task hard or challenging, the beta waves in their motor cortex, the part of the brain responsible for initiating movement, literally flatlined. It was as if someone just pulled the plug. People weren't just feeling unmotivated. They literally lost the electrical juice, the neural power, to move forward. So, that feeling of procrastination. It's not poor discipline. It's a primal, neurological short circuit designed to keep you safely, if frustratingly, on the couch, protecting you from perceived effort or failure. Your brain isn't trying to sabotage you, it's just trying to keep you safe and conserve precious energy. Section 2. Why? Just start. Fails now. You've probably heard the common advice, just start, break it into tiny steps. And sure, that can work. But here's the neuro truth. It only works if you manage to beat what I call the 12-second dopamine dip. Brain scans reveal something crucial. If you hesitate for longer than a dozen seconds after thinking about starting a task, your limbic system, that overprotective bouncer we talked about, goes into overdrive. It recruits a cocktail of stress hormones, cortisol and adrenaline, that flood your system. These aren't just making you feel anxious. They're actively muting your prefrontal cortex, the CEO, like a sleeping pill. They essentially dim its electrical activity, making it harder to think clearly, plan, and initiate. Suddenly, that 2-minute rule, just do 2 minutes of the task, feels utterly impossible. Why? Because your brain is chemically coddling inaction. It's literally doused in neurochemicals that scream, stay still, don't expend energy, avoid the perceived threat. The electrical signals that usually coordinate your thoughts into deliberate actions are scrambled. The coordinated electrical patterns needed for focused work simply aren't forming effectively. It's not a lack of willpower, it's a chemical and electrical blockade. We don't just need another pep talk. We need a neuro loophole, a clever way to bypass that electrical traffic jam. We need to trick our brain into switching from avoid to approach mode before the limbic system even knows what hit it. Section 3. Loophole 1. Motion before emotion. All right, here's our first neurohack. Motion before emotion. It's simple, but profoundly effective because it leverages your brain's wiring. Researchers at the University of Nottingham made a fascinating discovery about how our physical state influences our mental state. They found that even micro-movements, things as small as standing up from your chair, rolling your shoulders, or stretching your neck, instantly trigger what are called proprioceptive sensors throughout your body. These aren't just telling your brain where your limbs are. They're sending a powerful, immediate signal that reboots your motor cortex's beta waves within a mere 5 seconds. Think of it like this. Your physiology literally hijacks the emotional stalemate. Your body starts moving, and your brain says, "Oh wait, we're moving? I guess we're doing something then." It's a lightning-fast circuit flip. Next time you feel that familiar stall, that sticky paralysis, don't wait for motivation. Instead, set a 5-second countdown out loud. Seriously, say it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, stand. On 0, launch yourself into one ridiculous, tiny, almost meaningless action. Click open the document you need to work on. Type one garbled sentence, anything, into the blank page. Open the book to a random page. Pick up the guitar. The goal isn't progress, it's motion. This micro-action creates a new electrical spark, shifting your brain from threat to forward motion, before that limbic bouncer even has a chance to notice what's happening. You've bypassed the emotional resistance by initiating a physical change, which then triggers a neurological shift. Section 4. Loophole 2. Tame the cue desert. Our brains absolutely despise vague cues. They thrive on clarity and predictability. When the next step in a task is fuzzy, indistinct, or requires too much mental effort to figure out, your hippocampus, the brain region crucial for memory formation and spatial navigation, can retrieve a clear memory map. It doesn't have a template to copy. So, your prefrontal cortex, the CEO, gets stuck. It has no clear instructions, no obvious path of least resistance to follow, and thus, no electrical signals are efficiently coordinated to initiate action. We're left wandering in a cue desert. The solution? Engineer a cue so obvious, so ridiculously simple, it almost feels like cheating. You want to make the desired action the path of least electrical resistance. MIT habit studies have shown the power of environmental cues. Simply placing your guitar on a stand next to the couch, rather than tucked away in a closet, increased practice rates by a staggering 280%. That's huge! Translate that principle to your own stalled projects. For writing, leave the cursor blinking in yesterday's document. Don't close the file. For exercise, lay your running shoes and workout clothes out by the bedroom door the night before. For coding, preload your code editor to the exact file you need to work on. For studying, leave your textbook open to the correct chapter on your desk. By making the desired step visually and physically unavoidable, you conserve your brain's energy. Your brain, being inherently efficient, will choose the path that requires the least electrical effort. It's not about willpower. It's about making the decision so easy that your brain automatically flows into it, rather than having to expend precious electrical energy to figure out what to do next. You're creating an electrical superhighway directly to your goal. Section 5. Loophole 3. Reward prediction error. Now, here's a crucial insight about our dopamine system. It doesn't care about distant finish lines. The promise of a reward months from now, like a completed project or a promotion, is too far off to trigger the immediate, motivating dopamine hit we need. Our brains are wired for more immediate gratification. So, how do we keep the prefrontal engine engaged over weeks and months? We juice the reward prediction error. This is where you surprise your brain with smaller, random rewards tied directly to effort, not just outcome. Instead of waiting for the big win, you create mini wins. Write 200 words? Allow yourself to listen to one song. Finish one coding module? Watch one short, funny video. Complete a challenging email? Take a 5-minute walk. The key here is the unpredictability. Fixed, predictable rewards eventually lose their power because your brain learns to anticipate them and the dopamine surge diminishes. But when the reward is random and unexpected, it spikes dopamine up to 50% higher than fixed payoffs, according to a 2023 PNAS study. This isn't just about feeling good. It's about keeping your prefrontal cortex actively engaged and motivated. Over time, through this consistent cycle of effort, unpredictable reward, and dopamine spikes, your brain literally rewires itself through a process called neuroplasticity. The repeated electrical activity thickens the neural tract linking your limbic system as safety signals to your cortical control centers. What does this mean? It means the more you practice this, the less your brain perceives effort as a threat, and the more finishing feels natural, even enjoyable. You're building new, stronger electrical pathways that make completion a default, rather than an uphill battle. If these brain hacks save even one project from the graveyard of good intentions, if they help you reclaim your focus and kickstart that stalled ambition, then please hit that subscribe button. And drop a "done" in the comments below so the algorithm knows you are part of the finish what you start resistance. More brain electricity tactics to optimize your life drop every single week. Join the movement. Section 6. The 48-hour challenge knowledge, no matter how profound, without consistent repetition, without putting it into practice, just stays theory. It's like having a brilliant wiring diagram but never actually plugging anything in. To truly integrate these loopholes, we need to create new neural pathways, to literally solder new circuits in your brain. So, here's your challenge: the 48-hour neuro reset. Tonight, before you go to bed, pick one stalled task, just one. Within 5 minutes of deciding, apply loophole 1, motion before emotion. Count down and launch into one tiny, ridiculous action related to that task. Just get the electrical signals firing. Tomorrow morning, before breakfast, apply loophole 2, tame the cue desert. Set up your environment cue. Leave the document open, the shoes out, the book on the table. Make it impossible to not see the next step. By 48 hours, cycle in loophole 3, reward prediction error. As you engage with your task, even for a few minutes, surprise your brain with a small, random reward for your effort. Neuroscientists call this Hebb's Law. Neurons that fire together, wire together. Each time you apply these loopholes, you're creating a tiny electrical spark, strengthening the connection between intention and action. 2 days of consistent sparks, 2 days of intentionally firing those neurons in a new pattern will begin to solder that new circuit. And once that circuit is established, momentum, that beautiful, self-sustaining force, does the heavy lifting for you. You're not just changing habits. You're literally changing your brain's electrical architecture. Your brain isn't sabotaging you. It's actually trying to protect its precious fuel, its energy reserves. It's a marvel of efficiency. But once you learn to intelligently reroute its electricity with micromotion, create friction-free cues, and introduce surprise rewards, finishing flips from being an uphill battle to a delightful downhill roll. You are not broken. You never were. You just needed the wiring diagram, the user manual for your own incredible brain. Now that you have it, now that you understand how your brain's electricity truly works, go forth and finish something small today. Your CEO, your prefrontal cortex, is back online, fully charged, and ready to lead. Go make some sparks.